striker. You just get a sense of how much power he's keeping in that leg. Oh, the front kick there as well for the post, man. That's an express delivery indeed.
And Bodziak, he's also a striker at heart as well. He began training boxing, but then he switched to MMA at around age 18 because he's quoted as saying boxing was not enough. And he actually began training boxing because he was being a little, he had trouble with some bullies. And something tells me those bullies stopped giving him problems shortly after that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they went to find someone else, indeed. But that's often a common story as well that you hear. In fact, sitting right next to us, we have Lucie Berthaud, the French color commentator for our French counterparts, and her story is similar. She's become a boxing legend, now MMA fighter as well, but her story began as well with a bullying at school.
Yeah.
That was the infancy of her story. So that seems to be a common trend indeed among some of the fighters all around the world.
Well, you know what I say about pressure, right? It creates diamonds. And yeah, MMA there's so many stories. Just look at Georges St. Pierre, one of the examples as well. Oh, look at that.
Oh, there you have it. Just grabbing that leg and taking the opponent down. And Varela having to contend with the impact there as well, trying to find a way out.
That was a very nice reaction there from Bodziak because I think he was starting to feel a little bit frustrated, not really accomplishing what he wanted to on the feet. But, as I've said, he was a striker, but so was Niko Kovacic, who got the job done. And guess what? Bodziak's first ever MMA win was via submission as well. So, you've got to be able to do it all if you're going to compete in a high level, as for example, at such a high level as Hexagone MMA.
And talking about we always say, the striking background is impressive, etc. And like you mentioned, all those stories where you have someone going for the striking capability, but then finding the possibility to win via submission as well. It just has to add to the skill set. The panel has to be extremely wide, and we're setting ourselves up here in the corner area of the cage. Varela back up against the cage, not the best position to be in, is it, Sebastian?
Well, not necessarily, but if he manages to get his left arm free, he could use the cage to wall walk. But you see, Bodziak, he's kind of recognizing that he's hooking his opponent's legs together, and he's trying to make sure that Varela doesn't have a base to push off of, and then he can use the cage to get back up. But Bodziak, he's credited sort of his well-roundedness as an MMA fighter to his training partner, former KSW champion Sebastian Prizibus. Since training with him, and we've seen here Varela struggling a little bit to improve his position. I mean, sure, heel to the thigh, it's not comfortable, but it's hardly a fight-ending strike from the bottom. It's extremely rare that you see somebody have a whole lot of success striking-wise when they are off the back.
Well, there you have it. The crowd giving a generous applause there at the end of round number one. I was going to say two. We're not there yet. Hold our horses, indeed. Round number one. Now, how do you give an advantage to one of the two fighters when you see a round like this one?
Well, I feel like, based on what we saw, Bodziak seemed to be able to hold top position very well. If we were talking just straight up shooting for takedowns, I'd say they're probably pretty even based on what we've seen previously in their careers. But that was just, and I think that push kick hurt Bodziak. And look, we're seeing a similar situation, another guillotine attempt off of a strike to the body.
Well, there it is, locked and loaded, like you were saying. Wilson Varela making them.
And there we have it.
Oh my goodness!
Another guillotine finish off of a body strike, and it was that push kick, the teep to the body that really set it up.
And just a few seconds, indeed, can change everything in the dynamic of a fight. That's the clear-cut example of that.
Is the strongest. If indeed we do reach a third round, okay, the referee has seen enough, separates from him. And what height advantage there for Frankie Roland.
Taibbi is definitely the thicker fighter. But with a fire hydrant, that boy.
Absolutely. Nice inside calf kick there for Roland. Goes up on it.
I'd like to see a little bit more movement from Roland. We know now the game plan. Like Taibbi showed his hand early. The game plan is to pressure against the cage and try and look for the takedown, I think.
Yeah.
So Roland needs to move. If Roland continues to stay against the cage like that, Taibbi's just going to punch his way into a clinch. Big shot over the top.
That was like something you'd see from a baseball pitcher at Dodger Stadium.
Roland definitely dodging.
getting a bit busier. And you gotta say it's admirable. Taibbi had a pretty bad start to his pro career. Lost his first 4 fights. Now he has wins in 3 out of his last 4.
Nice little low kick from Roland and followed up with a jab. Just knocked his opponent off balance with a leg kick, popped the jab. Oh, another big shot over the top. Just like we said, Taibbi punching his way into the clinch. Big shot over the top, distract your opponent. Would have liked to see him get a little bit lower with the takedown though.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. He almost went in at like as if to start out at an over-under position.
Roland remaining calm.
And we know that Taibbi wants to get it to the ground. After all, he's been quoted as saying, when I'm on the ground, I'm always looking for a finish. Sub or TKO doesn't matter. Oh, just as I say that, he gets the fight exactly what he wants it. No.
Has the back. Nice work from Roland to get back to his feet. A beautiful outside trip from Taibbi. Close guard. Roland does have 2 wins by way of submission as a professional. Does have a decent background as well. Winner of the prestigious French National Paquillo Cup in 2010 and 2015 respectively.
Absolutely, you can tell that he's starting to think about offensive submissions off of his back.
Saw a couple of times there, he's tried to grab the wrist, tried to go for bicep control. Intentionally trying to set up a triangle submission, but nice work from Taibbi to stay low.
Passes to half guard as well, so a much better position. And maybe taking a couple of breaths there before continuing with his next move.
Position before submission, Sebastian.
Yep. And again, I think it speaks to just, you know, the work ethic of Taibbi. The same way that he stuck through with the adversity early in his career, he's sticking through this position as well, not rushing things.
Put on the hip from Roland, he's trying to hit the armbar. You can see as soon as he puts a foot on the hip, he's going to try and open up his own hips and create an angle for himself. Taibbi needs to be careful of not be a little bit too overly amorous with his shots. 10 seconds left. Can Taibbi do something definitive just to put a real exclamation point on the round?
Well, no huge shot to punctuate things with an exclamation point, but at least a very good submission to end things in. As
trying to change position here, but I'd like to see him fight for the underhook and then try and disengage or pull down on his overhook here while simultaneously pushing up. Almost like a steering wheel motion to create a little bit of space to get out for himself.
Right, yeah.
But arguably, Roland is down 2 rounds, so he wants to assure himself of a win. Doing a good job, he's pushing down the head, but can't quite see it. No, Taibbi doesn't have the hands connected, but if he uses the spring of the cage a little bit, just like that, beautiful work. And you just kind of get the feeling that Taibbi's going to establish the position and work from here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he could just hold the position and he will
land enough shots, keep himself honest.
Yeah, by all intents and purposes, he should win a decision if he remains in his position.
Roland needs to get a foot on the hip, just as I say, he does that, needs to create angles. That guard is open, he needs to work. Closed guard, traditionally a very defensive position. He needs to be offensive in a situation like that.
Yeah, I'd like to see some more of what we saw in the first round, where you could clearly see that he was thinking about submission, he was bringing his legs up towards the shoulders of his opponent, just, if nothing else, then to give Taibbi something more to think about, something that will sort of dampen his offense a little bit.
Straight arm lock here from Roland. Very, very difficult to get when your opponent is professional like Taibbi. The foot staying on the hip here, but cannot just have the foot on the hip. He needs to create an angle for himself. Cut that angle, throw something up like an arm bar, even get both feet on the hips to push away.
Some solid shots there from Taibbi.
There's another one, but needs to be careful of not overextending on these shots. Triangle attempt here.
Taibbi out of danger. Will probably pass the side control here.
Trying to set up a head arm.
Straight into full mount. Nice work from Taibbi.
Nice work to grapevine the legs. The full 30 seconds to work. He can throw nasty shots. Trying to work for the rear naked choke here.
He's got both hooks in.
He's never won a professional fight. He's too high on the chin. That's not underneath. More of a face bar than it was a rear naked choke, it must be said. Taibbi had never had a win by rear naked choke, never had a win by submission in his professional career.
He's in a great position to ground and pound it, though. But Roland is as tough as they come.
Definitive way to end the round for Alan Taibbi. I think on the balance of play, you can make a compelling argument for Taibbi taking all 3 rounds there, Sebastian.
I think so too. Just the most definitive moments in general, aside from those knees in round number 2, they were all courtesy of Taibbi. The overhands, the top control, but we'll see if the judges agree.
Remember, Destin, the head coach of La Bonne École, parading his fighter around the cage. He thinks his fighter has done enough to win. Scores are